it looks like we have some significant news about something going on between Egypt and Israel that fits into the prophetic events that we're to be watching for. Over here at the website, thepropheticplaybook.com, we have a list of prophetic events that we're supposed to be watching for. Know the top prophetic events to be watching for. And number 6 is listed right over here. And what it is, if you haven't read the Prophetic Playbook ebook, the Prophetic Playbook story ebook, I really suggest that you read that. It's going to help you to understand the prophetic events to be watching for all the way up to the return of Christ in power and glory. Now, one of the ones that we're supposed to be watching for right now is that Iran is going to be pushing to the west and to the north and to the south. And after a while of them doing that, we don't know how long, Khamenei is supposed to be killed. And then that massive area that Iran has defeated or has taken control and influence over, that massive area is to be split up into at least a kingdom of the north and a kingdom of the south. Now, the kingdom of the south is supposed to include Israel and Egypt. So what I'm going to be watching for in the news is any sign of Israel and Egypt having a closer relationship. And so we have that right here, number 6, and we're looking for signs of Egypt and Israel forming a bond. And today, what we find in the news, it was published yesterday on YouTube, and that is that Egypt is going to be sending an ambassador to Israel for the first time in 3 years. And the news is even more significant because Israel and Egypt, those leaders, have a more connecting bond, a more unified direction than in probably the past decade or so. Let's go ahead and listen to a little bit of this YouTube and see what we can pick up from it here.
Egypt has appointed a new ambassador to Israel for the first time since 2012, when it recalled its ambassador from Tel Aviv over the regime's deadly attacks on the Gaza Strip. Egypt's mission in Israel has been operated by a deputy ambassador since the former Egyptian government, led by ousted President Mohamed Morsi, recalled the Egyptian envoy from Tel Aviv. Cairo also threatened to completely shut down its Tel Aviv embassy and expel Israel's ambassador if the regime expanded its military operation against Palestinians. Israel and Egypt's current president, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, have now close security coordination. Cairo has refused to open its border with Gaza, helping Tel Aviv in its crippling blockade of the Quds enclave. Joining us via Skype from London now is Ali Al-Kabani. He's a journalist and writer. Many thanks for joining us here, Mr. Al-Kabani. Now, what do you make of this appointment of a new ambassador to Israel by Egypt? There are many who are saying this goes to show that the government of Sisi is even more pro-Israel than Hosni Mubarak was.
That goes without saying. The Israeli ex-defense minister said that Mubarak was a strategic treasure for Israel, and now the Israelis are saying we are having a better president in Sisi than even Mubarak. He created for them the buffer zone, which they have been asking for 15 years. Mubarak, with the help of pressure from the Americans, to create this buffer zone, and even Mubarak couldn't do that because he has got the historic city of the Egyptian Rafah. But in 3 days, Abdel Fattah al-Sisi and his military regime ordered the indigenous inhabitants to leave their historic city, and they destroyed all the houses to create this 5 kilometers buffer zone. Also, as your program mentioned, the relation between the military regime in Egypt and the Israelis are now very close. Sisi's regime are helping them in completing the siege over Gaza, and they are allowing the Egyptian army to move in Zone B and Zone A in Sinai, which was prohibited for the Egyptian army to go in these areas according to Camp David Treaty.
All right. So really significant information there. Let's follow it along as time marches on here. But we can see that Egypt and Israel are forming a more close relationship, and that looks to be in the direction of fulfilling that prophetic event where after Israel and Egypt have gone through this time of Iran pushing to the west, north, and south, Israel and Egypt are going to be forming a bond, and it's going to be that kingdom of the south that is prophetically talked about in the book of Daniel. And great information here.